Hey guys, Barry Legend here with another review. This time I am going to be reviewing the anime series Initial D. First stage, second stage, third stage, and fourth stage. Going to keep it pretty quick, but recently I got all of these through the Funimation sale at rightstuff.com. So they have a great sale couple weeks ago, and I was able to pick up the entire series for less than $50, which is pretty sweet. So I was able to pick up Initial D First Stage Part 1 and 2, Second Stage, which is the OVA and Extra Stage, Third Stage, which is actually the film, the movie version, and finally Fourth Stage Part 1 and 2. So how I got into this series, I was in a anime group, local in Chicago, JPC. We watched the series, God, this was like 2002. We went through the entire series. At the time, they didn't have the third stage or fourth stage. Fourth stage came later. First stage was released in '98, and I think second stage was released in 2000. But anyways, yeah, so we watched first and second stage, and fourth stage wasn't released until I think 2006, so kind of a gap, but yeah. So anyways, Initial D, about a story about a high school student who actually runs tofu up and down the mountain passes in Japan for his dad. His dad's tofu shop, and he's been actually driving since 5 years before he actually got his license. So everyone in his high school is talking about the drifting, which is kind of a Japanese racing where instead of it's all about speed, you actually have to drift into corners and make strategic moves to get down these crazy mountain passes. And he finds out that he just has this innate ability just because he's been, basically practicing every day with his job, and he doesn't think that street racing has anything to do with, he doesn't think it's fun just because he considers it part of his job. So yeah, when I first saw this series, I don't know technically a lot about cars. I mean, my dad's a mechanic. He works on cars all the time. So, for me, an anime about car racing, and car drifting, I was cautious about it because, who knew there could be an anime about that? But, yeah, it really grew on me, and I really liked it. So, my impressions, though, and especially for newer anime fans, the art style is really off-putting in a way because it's drawn exactly like the manga's art style, and for some people it might be considered a little rough, especially coupling that with the CG they use with the car racing, which for the first couple seasons is not the best. I would consider it maybe PlayStation 2 video game effects with the car racing. especially when in some shots they actually have the cars all drawn out in some very few shots. But so if you can get past that, by itself, the racing is really great. They really ramp up the drama and the action. But I can say that the third, fourth stages, it got to a point, because they were doing it much later, that the animation is way better, and it's really integrated well with all improved car CG. So the third and the fourth stages are really gorgeous, and if you can get through the first two series visually, I think you'll be okay. Story-wise, it's really great. You actually get to learn about the mechanics of drifting and Japanese racing, and you kind of learn with the main character, Takumi. So these DVD releases are from Funimation. They're actually the second U.S. company to distribute these DVDs. Tokyopop originally brought it to the States, and they did a horrible job. They totally westernized it. They took out all of the music, which is done by the Japanese group Move, and they are phenomenal. Amazing Eurobeat Japanese group. I actually got to see them at ASEN a few years ago. They totally rocked it, and they do all of the main music for Initial D. So when Tokyopop brought it to the US, they replaced all of that music, which is kind of essential to the show. It really keeps up the pace. They replaced all of that with really bad generic American like DJ music, and they renamed all of the characters, and they were doing like whoa, like cool slang and like street slang. Like they're really trying to appeal to the Fast and the Furious crowd at the time, and it was just horrible. Tokyopop did a horrible job. So that's why I never bought those initial DVD sets, was because it was just bad. So it was just one of those series that, okay, I saw it, I don't really need to own it. Well, when the sale came along, you can still find it pretty cheap. And when Funimation, they redid the dub, they kept the original music from Move, and they did it and kept it uncut. So they even advertised that on as a sticker on the package, uncut, redubbed, just to get away from that Tokyopop mess. And they did a phenomenal job with it, and I think it's a really great show, and it's definitely a show that you should be watching. And yeah, so if you can find it online for cheap, if Right Stuff has another sale, I definitely say it's a pickup, and it is a buy. It's Barry Legend, signing out.